Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is feeling good and looking good. 'Cause shit, I know I am. My name is Grateful Queen, and today I wanted to try a live video, and also I'll be saving it and hopefully editing it and putting it on my channel. But today I want to talk about specifically the unseen threats from family predators. Now, there's been this video that has been, not video, this case that has been up and down my timeline of Naziah Harris. And when I was listening to a bunch of different, YouTube and podcasts and news videos, I felt that I had heard the story already. I was like, is this an old story? No, it's a new story. But something identical, and I do mean identical, happened to Ayanna Sawyer. And I don't just mean like, oh, a family predator, somebody in their family. No. Like uncle, niece, pregnant, led to their demise or led to their fatality. So it was like, I already know people that our family members have the capacity to do that, but to see it systematically from uncles, no less, happening to these young Black girls where they shouldn't even have been subject to that type of behavior, let alone that type of abuse. So I compiled a couple of videos, and also I compiled four, if not four, at least four signs to look out for to keep our children safe, boys and girls. So first things first, let me go ahead and do my intro, and then we'll chat a little more. Let's go. And I'm back. All right, so in the sanctity of our homes, we expect safety and trust for ourselves, for our children, for our family. Yet predators continue and often infiltrate these very spaces, disguising themselves as family members, close friends, people you're dating, to exploit the vulnerable. So today I want to explore two harrowing cases that, again, were so like vivid in my mind that I was just like, are they the same? Because they sound identical. Like they literally sound identical. And in both of these cases, they led to exploitation of young girls, betrayal of that trust within that family. And I also want to discuss warning signs and preventative measures to protect our loved ones, especially the youth. So first things first, in many families, uncles can hold a special place of trust and affection. Typically, it's this, secondary male figure or primary male figure in some cases. However, in some tragic instances, this trust is manipulated into sinister purposes, selfish purposes. Offenders may use their familiar bond to gain trust and unsupervised access to the child, gradually desensitizing them to inappropriate behavior and tactics through grooming. Now, I want to kind of define what that means. Grooming often involves the perpetrator building a close relationship with the child, giving gifts, creating secrets, and this process makes the child feel complicit and less likely to disclose the abuse. Okay, so that's a very key word. I'm gonna go back to that when I'm talking about the signs, but secrets. Okay. Now, family friends can seamlessly become a part of your household. Their presence is welcome and unquestioned. So again, somebody that is familiar, somebody that you're like, oh yeah, that's so and so. This familiarity provides predators with the opportunity to isolate and exploit young girls and boys. and often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Predators often position themselves as trustworthy figures in these children's lives. It could be a coach, it could be a teacher, it could be a counselor, it could be an after-school program, it could be an uncle, it could be someone that you're dating, it could be your neighbor. They may offer to babysit or take the children out on outings, using the opportunities to initiate and escalate abusive behavior. So, keywords. Hey, let me do this for you. Hey, let me make myself available to you and your child. Oh no, you don't gotta worry. You don't gotta worry. I got this. Awareness is crucial in preventing such exploitation. So I want to talk about a couple of indicators, and then I'm going to roll right into the videos, and then I'll talk a little more about those two specific cases. So behavioral changes, unexplained gifts, overly close relationships, and encouraging secrecy. So let me go ahead and give a little more context. So a sudden shift of behavior, like they are all of a sudden very secretive, they are withdrawn, or they have unexplained anxiety and anger that was not there before. This one, is interesting because, we're talking about children, and they may have their like growth spurts and their behavioral changes, but it's really important to realize what is out of the normal. What is something that is out of the normal? Not what is normal. Oh, no, that's not normal for kids. No, what is out of the normal? And being familiar enough to know what the normal is in your house, in your family. Unexplained gifts. This is kind of, self-explanatory, but I do want to give a little more, because receiving gifts and money without a clear reason may be used as something to entice or silence the victim. So again, we're not talking about, oh, well, nobody can give them a Christmas present or a birthday present, but are they just getting a PS5 out the blue? Are they having little side conversations in order to get these quote unquote gifts? And that leads to the next one, overly close relationships, and adults showing excessive interest in a child, seeking alone time, or isolating themselves with others. Now, I want to take a minute to kind of talk about this one before I go to the next one. I remember it was, I want to say 2 years ago now. I was working at a YDO at the time, a youth development organization. And there was one of the older students. She was a junior or senior, I forget off the top of my head. A really sweet girl, very bubbly, love her. To this day, I love her. And I remember she told us a story of like, yeah, my coach just dropped us off. And myself and at least one other person that was an adult in the room instantly just like, I can't even tell you, it was palpable. Our reaction to, excuse me, an adult man just dropped you off here? Oh, no, don't worry, that's the coach. Actually, we were just talking about how another coach got caught up doing something like that, and how you should never do that. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. An adult coach dropped you off, and your small talk in the car was about someone else being exploited, because that's really what it is. Anybody that's younger than 18, that's exploitation. If you're 18, 19, 20, 21, at least they're in legal age. But you're going to tell me that someone that is a teenager was having a relationship with the other coach, and you guys were talking about it as small talk? And again, we kept on mentioning, like, keep an eye on that. Don't do that. Don't try to get alternative ride. Like let us know if you need help. Oh, no, you don't got to worry about him. You don't got to worry about him. She proceeded to say who it was. And I and other people knew him from high school. So again, we were kind of like, that doesn't sound like the person that we know, but still, you still got to be vigilant, regardless of who it is. Was our understanding leaving that conversation. Perhaps an hour, you hear me? A year later, bulletin everywhere. I'm talking about the Eagle Tribune, the Boston Herald, there's Fox News in our area. Maybe like it had to have been 6 to 10 different news or media outlets mentioning so and so was arrested for child blank, 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 and meeting up with a child. And I don't care if the child is a teenager, it's still a child. So it goes to show that these overly close relationships, although they may seem harmless, that does not mean that they are harmless. And then lastly, encouraging secrecy. The adult encourages the child to keep secrets from parents or guardians, fostering a sense of complicity. This one is what a major tool and tactic for these individuals. You know why? Because there's this level of fear. There's this level of, hey, you're going to violate my trust to say what we have that's so special, that's so this, that, the third. Or even in the cases that we're going to hear, you have these very intimate conversations with this child and adult. And then within that secrecy, they say, yeah, but don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. So again, it's not only a secret between you two, but it's a secret between you and the outside world, where they just create this space where they can be exploited and hurt. And as an adult, parent, family member, it's important for us to identify, hey, what's going on over there? And be vigilant of that. And ask, hey, do you feel safe talking to me? Are you holding any secrets from me? Is there anything that you would like to tell me without any judgment? Because when you are a child, embarrassment and to feel like you have betrayed someone can feel monumental. Those feelings feel monumental. I remember when I was a kid, if I think with my 35-year-old brain to back then, the most trivial things, you can feel embarrassed and feel like your world is crashing down. And as an adult, you're like, you're gonna have way bigger fish to fry. You're gonna have way bigger obstacles than having a bad hair day, feeling like you are not included, feeling like you are insert this common thing. Now, in that same breath, I want to not only just tell you, hey, these are things to look out for. Okay, so I found them. What do I do? So it's really important that when we're protecting our kids and our children, it requires vigilance and open communication. So parents and guardians and family members can take proactive steps. So how do we do that? Educate, 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 educate. Teach children about appropriate boundaries and the importance of speaking up if someone makes them uncomfortable. My 5-year-old was singing a song, I think last week, about boundaries. And I was just like, what? And he's in kindergarten. So to have someone feel, hey, I am entitled to my boundaries. And also I know what my boundaries are. That's important. That's something that's taught. That's not something that's just like, oh yeah, of course, that's innate. No, you need to teach them. So educate ourselves and educate our children to do that. An open dialogue. Maintain an environment where your children feel safe discussing these concerns without fear of judgment or punishment. That's huge. Because again, they will keep these secrets because they fear. They keep these secrets because they think they're going to get punished. And it's just like, no. I want to make sure that you are safe and protected. Supervision. Now, this is difficult because when your kids are not with you, they're not with you. I'm a keep it a buck. When your kids are not with you, they're not with you. But be cautious about allowing unsupervised access to your kids, even with trusted family members and friends. Be mindful. Don't just let anyone. I remember when my son was way younger, like I would have people like, oh, don't worry, leave him over, I could babysit. And seldomly did I actually take people up on that request. Seldomly. just because it was like, I don't know how you behave like that. Like with the child, like you being a person and you taking care of a child are different things. Even myself, you know, the way that I communicate in the world and the way that I communicate with my son are inherently different. So I would always be like, but that goes to show, like, that was my intuition probably. And then last, monitoring behavior. So stay alert to the changes. Like I said, making sure that you are able to see, hey, what's the norm? No. What is abnormal? If there are behavioral changes or unusual interactions, you know? So now I want to go ahead and pivot, and there are two cases that I want to talk about specifically: Naziah Harris and Ayanna Sawyer. I'm going to start with Naziah just because that's the one that's kind of like fresh. And then I want to go back to the Ayanna Sawyer just so you can see how similar they are. All right, let's get started. Let me go ahead and put it full screen. First, I'm going to go ahead, and this is during the preliminary. This is just preliminary. The prosecution, yeah, that was prosecution, gave this to one of the officer or detectives. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And she's reading all of the text messages. And then after, I want to listen to the judge. And then we'll move on to Ayanna. So let's go ahead and share this screen. Oh, I'm on screen. All right, let's get started.
Can you read the messages that were sent from that number to Jarvis Butt's numbers, or I guess the messages that were captured within People's Exhibit 15? So, including the dates and approximate times.
So the first message is September 24th, 2022 at 22:15 hours UTC. She says, "Baldhead Janiyah, come here."
And that's to a number that's not Mr. Butt's.
Correct.
Okay.
Then the next message is on September 27th, 2022. All of these dates are from 2022. So September 27th at 1:37 a.m. UTC. It is sent to Mr. Butt's phone. "We fitnessing, happy birthday." Immediately after that, at the 17-second mark, again to Mr. Butt's phone, it says, "Come on." On that date, September 27th at 1:52 a.m., another message is sent to Butt's phone asking, "You okay?" September 27th, 2022, 1:54 a.m., she has sent a message, "Where are we doing it at your choice?" Immediately following that text, a message is received to Naziah, to this text now number, from Mr. Butt's phone that says, "You tell me." 9:27, 1:55 a.m., a message is replied to Jarvis, says, "Basement." 1:56 a.m., a message is sent to Naziah from Mr. Butt's phone that says, "You sure?" At 1:56 a.m., a message is sent to Naziah, from Naziah to Mr. Butt, saying, "Or job." At 1:57 a.m., a message is sent to Naziah from Mr. Butt's phone, saying, "Can you suck my dick, please?" The message immediately following that, from Mr. Butt's phone to Naziah, "And make sure you erase the messages." Still September 27th, 1:59 UTC, a message is sent to Mr. Butt that says, "Okay, that is what I planned to do." Another message is immediately following that at 2:01 to Mr. Butt. "You turn me on just looking at you," and then there's a bunch of letters, which possibly is maybe an image that was sent that doesn't capture on the messages. 2:02 a.m., Naziah sends another message to Jarvis, "What time to be in the basement?" 2:03 a.m., he replies and sends her a message that says, go change your clothes and take your panties off. Zaya replies to Mr. Butts and says the letter K at 2:10 a.m. So 7 minutes later, a message is sent from Zaya to Jarvis's phone. I hear you. What are you looking at? Jarvis replies back immediately to her saying the letter U. At 2:13 a.m. UTC, still on September 27th, Zaya sends Jarvis a message that says, I know, I'm finna sleep good. There's another message directly after that that has a bunch of symbols, so I'm not sure if it was one of those little emojis. 2:14 a.m., she sends to him, what about you? The next message she sends to him immediately after, sometimes I be wanting to live with you. 2:16 a.m., she sends to him, you know what I mean? 2:18 a.m., she sends, what time I'm ready? 2:23 a.m., she sends to Mr. Butts' phone number, we not doing it or what? 2:23 a.m., Zaya sends to Mr. Butts, I really want you. This is still on the same day, September 27th, 2022. This is now 2:23 a.m. UTC time. Mr. Butts replies to Nazaya, yes. 2:24 a.m. Nazaya sends, pull your car down the street and come back. I'll be waiting. 2:25 a.m. Jarvis's phone replies back to her, come ride with me and Nye, N-I-Y. 2:25 a.m. She replies, did they say I can come? At 2:30 UTC, she sends him a message that says, I'm sorry, but love you. 2:30 UTC, he immediately replies back, come on. 2:31, Nazaya replies, I can't, I'm going to get in trouble. The next message is at 2:35. She sends, when you come back, drop Nye off, pull your car down the street, and I'll come in the base. I'll be waiting. Then immediately after that, she sends, basement, please. Jarvis replies, okay. At 2:40, Jarvis replies, you in the basement yet? Immediately after that, Nazaya replies back, yeah. Now we are the next day being, it's now September 28th, 2:28 a.m. UTC. She sends Jarvis a message that says, are we doing it tonight? I'm ready, fresh out the shower. The next message is a reply from him to her. Well, this is September 30th now at 1:25 a.m. UTC. He replies, yo. September 30th, 2:59, she replies, you coming over? She then sends another message directly after that, don't have school. At 3:07, a reply is received to Nazaya from Jarvis saying, yep. She then replies, okay, we'll be waiting. At 3:17 a.m., he sends another message, she sends a message to Jarvis that says, text me when you get here. At 3:21 a.m., this is still September 30th date, Jarvis replies and sends a message to her saying, outside. Now we have skipped to September 30th, but it is now on here at 23:13 hours UTC. She sends a message to Jarvis saying, hey, boo, you coming over? The next message is now October 1st, 2022, 1:51 UTC. She sends a message to Jarvis asking, you coming?
Sorry, I was changing the video at the same time. Yeah, So before we move on to what the judge had to say about, again, this is just the preliminary. Let me get closer to the mic. So not only were they reading text messages, but they were reading off of deleted text messages that were on the Text Now app, which is just like a temporary, excuse me, not a temporary, like a secondary phone number or whatever. Do you notice that not only was all of that inappropriate, to say the least, but you have this like messages at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Hey, make sure that you delete this message. Hey, why don't we fuck in the basement? So again, having all of this secrecy, having all of this forbidden in order to lure and groom Naziah. Now I want to go ahead and play the judge. And again, this is preliminary, which is on the way to going to trial. But if you listen to what the judge says, she's so no nonsense that I really wanted to play what she has to say. Because she mentions that she was failed, and she was failed on so many different levels. This man, quote unquote, had 5 kids with Naziah's aunt. No mother around, no father around. And then on top of that, had 5 more kids elsewhere. Was a known sexual predator. And yet this still went on unnoticed. So let's go ahead and play what the judge had to say. Again, I was, when I first watched it, I was taken away. That's why I honestly, based off what she said, because again, she kind of summarized everything. I instantly was like, yo, I wanna dig a little deeper into not only her case, but the fact that these tactics go on. And that is how this continues. All right, let me go ahead and judge. Okay, perfect. Let's go. Play.
Quote, in this case, there was no physical evidence such as blood stains or a weapon leaking defendant to Joyce's death. In this case, we don't have the same facts or circumstances. I do agree, this is a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence is sufficient for a bind over and even conviction. Today is January 9th, 2025, exactly 1 year, from the day Naziah Harris disappeared. Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first-degree murder, I have to speak on Naziah Harris and the community who failed her. And I am only presented with certain evidence. I don't know the whole story. The attorneys know more than me, the family knows more than me, but from what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love. I don't know where her father is. I don't have any mention of him in her life, no presence. To Cordell, AKA King, and all the men who saw Jarvis Butts hanging out and always around these young girls, including Naziah, and his 9-year-old daughter going up to the shop to clean up his shop. The school counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up if that counselor was absent, after Naziah was on the floor on the day she went missing, saying that she needed to speak to someone and speak to a counselor. There's no mention of CPS, but I wonder what their involvement was over the years, because this was not just a 1-year thing. There are text messages at least from 2022. To her adoptive grandmother, Annette Harris, whose testimony, in my opinion, was very questionable. I understand why the people put her on the stand to establish Naziah's residence and the houses on Bedford and the regular routine, to establish also that Naziah was not a runaway child, that she was not a bad kid. I do believe she adopted Naziah. I do believe that she had 6 kids in the house. I believe that Naziah had on a dark hoodie the day she went missing, and that she had on red and black Nikes that day. What is hard to believe is that the defendant never came into the house as she testified. And there was also a minor that testified that he did as well. Text messages that show between him and Isaiah that he did in the basement, saying he was going to the shower, stealing her panties. He was always lurking around that house and asking for Janiyah and Zaniyah, from what I know. I even thought about the breakfast routine and saying that all the kids like eating breakfast at school. Did they have a choice? I don't know. But to always send those girls up there to clean up the shop raises questions. And how were there two women in that house who have birthed children themselves who did not notice that Naziah was pregnant, and I believe she was, and not having her period anymore? But then after hearing text messages today, begging Jarvis for pads as if she didn't have anyone else to give them for her. And what stood out the most was when Annette Harris stood on the stand, and she learned around 6 p.m. that Naziah did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. Without a tear, without emotion, or any expression of being devastated. And to her Aunt Shannon, who also showed no emotion, expression of being devastated from Naziah going missing. She stated that she had friends help look for Naziah, but was directed to just wait until the morning to call the police. A grown woman who likely suspected something strange going on didn't feel the need to call the police either. They were both able to go to sleep at night without hearing from Naziah or having any indication that she was coming home at night. And of course, the defendant, who I will get to in a minute. I don't know who else failed Naziah, but the community did. As far as the people establishing probable cause, I will focus on count 1, as it's been stated that there is no contention with counts 2 and 3. In count 3, I will amend based off of the motion and the testimony I heard that Naziah was 12 and not 13 at the time that Jarvis Butts had sexual intercourse with her. The prosecution is correct. You do not have to have a body to establish first-degree premeditated murder. It would have been a much shorter exam had her body been found, but this is where we are. In the last 365 days, no text messages. We all heard today and yesterday that she was very active and frequently texted. No social media for a year. We heard through testimony that she was also active on social media. No phone calls, which she was also able to do according to testimony. No physical sighting of her by anyone. She never came back to school. No one has seen her. Medical records dated from July 2014 to October 2023 indicated that she had no life-threatening medical issues that would lead to a natural cause of death. The black hoodie found in the area of 7 Mountainburg with her DNA and blood on it. The holes in the hoodie consistent with some sort of struggle, violence, or weapon being used. And we know that there were no holes in that hoodie when she wore it to school. We saw a picture of her in a black hoodie on her last day that everyone saw her. I do believe her grandma testified truthfully about the sweatshirt that she had on and that was practically new. And the border agent who said that no evidence of animals would have destroyed the clothing or the shoes to possibly lead to animals tearing up that hoodie. The clear glasses found in the blue Nissan the day after she went missing. The behavior of the defendant when he snatched those glasses. They looked exactly like the glasses she had on in her last picture, according to the witness. The shoes that her brother described as the same shoes that were found also in the area of 7 Mountainburg near the hoodie. While this is still probable cause, the evidence all points to Jarvis Butts. His locations, him being seen with her last, the abortion searches, the abrupt silence between the two of them in text messages, and the constant lies he told throughout the entire investigation. and they were proven to be lies with text messages and other testimony. We may never know what happened, but from what I heard today and over the last 4 or 5 days, it appears he intended to perform what he thought was a do-it-yourself abortion on Isaiah. It went south, and instead of seeking medical attention for her, he intentionally killed her and tried his best to cover it up. As much as I want her to be alive today, there is at least probable cause to show and believe that she's dead and she was murdered by Jarvis Butts. Mr. Butts, stand up. You've been sitting over there for 4 days with your head down, sitting between and behind your attorney with your mask on and taking vigorous notes. I want you to pay attention and listen to everything I have to say. I have been trying to figure out for the last 5 days, you. At one point, I thought you were cognitively impaired in the beginning of this exam. And then maybe you had the brain of a 10-year-old, and that's why you were doing such things. But as I heard more and more testimony, you're just the true definition of a pedophile. Watching you laugh and brag about all the women you have with different women and the children and the girlfriends, and making babies to groom them and having them in your presence, cleaning up your shop, and the little girls around you, has landed you here today. You groomed Isaiah. You played mind games with her. We all heard that. You controlled her emotionally. She was exposed to so much at such a young age. The text messages between you two were disgusting to hear. And to think that she had you saved in her phone as babe for life. Isaiah deserved so much more. And while I mentioned other people that failed her, Jarvis Butts, you are the monster in this whole picture. She did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life. She was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like. Your children deserve more.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, let's go back here. So before I go on to the Aiyana Sawyer, so as you could see, he embedded himself into this little girl's life. No mother, no father, and swearing her to secrecy, right? So not only was he exploiting her, but he was grooming her and manipulating her to finally end her. Now, this rang so familiar to me, and the reason why it rang so familiar because there is an older case from 4 years ago. You can't even make this up, from 4 years ago. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this news one, and then I'll play one more. So let's go ahead and do this. Today.
The man that you are about to see, Jonathan Quiles, he sits in jail waiting for trial, accused of killing his niece, 16-year-old Aiyana Sawyer, who police believe was pregnant with his child. Well, tonight, more new evidence, audio recordings of Quiles in jail talking about the death of a girl or a woman and where the body was dumped. Aiyana Sawyer's name is never heard, but the discussion is detailed about someone who is pregnant. Jonathan Quiles sits in jail talking to two inmates as the discussion shifts to why he is there. Quiles says he's calm about being in jail.
Nervous, man? To be honest, I'm really not nervous about my situation. I'm just more upset that my wife could be going through labor and I can't be there. That's what bothers me the most. And now I know they don't got this is nothing, I know it.
Keyless explains to an inmate that all of his messages with an unknown girl or woman were sent on Snapchat because the messages are deleted. Keyless also talks about taking a woman or a girl to his job. An inmate asks how he got away with it, and Keyless explains the person's body is in a dumpster that had already been removed from the property where he works, Ace Pick-A-Part, a vehicle salvage company. During the call, Keyless talks about his thoughts and faith.
You been praying, bro? Huh? You been praying? I haven't stopped praying. I've been praying this whole time. I stay in for it. You have to forgive me? Oh, yeah. But I actually forget it is.
Keyless is currently facing 2 first-degree murder charges and a sexual battery charge. He will be back in court on March 10th.
And just so you know, he was found guilty. He had his brother on his stand, and even his brother gave him up. His brother was like, you can't do that. And you are not my brother if you think that doing that is right. Now, the last thing that I wanted to show was Keyless, right? So at first, it wasn't him. He doesn't know what can happen. When they found out she was pregnant, he thought in his brain, how could she be pregnant? And are there moments where she was nauseous or ate more food or whatever? Like, his interrogation was so cringe and crazy. And it got to the point where the officers and the detectives were like, then why did we find her underwear with your sperm in it? Why was your DNA in her underwear? Oh, that can't be possible. That can't be so. That can't be true. And it's just like, the science and the DNA isn't gonna lie. And he was banking on that, what you just heard in that previous clip. Oh, they're not gonna find her body, so I don't really gotta worry about anything. But they found everything else. So let me go ahead and put this last video. This one is a little bit longer, but again, I wanted to show purposely the text messages to give you a taste of not only are they manipulating, but you could see the kind of the way that they communicate in order to gain that trust, or in order to like gain being on the same page, right? And again, this is Snapchat, so he was kind of banking on, oh yeah, it will forever be deleted, and they were able to pull it up. And by the grace of the internet algorithm gods, they were able to pull it up, because I think that a lot of people bank on Snapchat just deleting. And I am of the philosophy, I've never really liked Snapchat. I maybe have an account, but I've never used it, like quite literally have never ever used it. And it always kind of irked me, where it's just like, oh, you want to be secretive. Whoever has Snapchat, you want to be secretive. Like, why? What is so amazing of living vicariously through somebody and it just evaporates? It just deletes. Like, I don't know. Like, I've always not liked Snapchat. I don't know. So let's go ahead and play this video, and I'm going to try to mute myself correctly this time.
I lied about not liking Maya and wanting to do things with her. We will go the day Uncle John.
And the next entry?
8/21/2018, 3:22. I don't like nobody hurting you but me.
And the next entry?
8/22/2018, 12:02. I'm sorry. I forgot you're carrying our child and you're oversensitive. I do love you very much and don't want you to keep going through this drama. But we have plans, and if you act off of your emotions.
Lies. He said he had never touched that girl, never was with that girl, didn't know what you were talking about, didn't know she was pregnant, didn't know. And literally, I just started this video. And the detective is reading the messages between he and the pregnant niece. And again, in interrogation, of course, he's going to deny. But the fact that he denied it, and within these messages, oh, I forgot you're carrying our child. Okay, let's go back.
You will hinder all of our plans in the future. It's very hard to see it now, but it's the truth.
And the next entry?
8/22/2018, 2 o'clock. The day Uncle John told you that Maya liked Ken, they were already dating. And the very next day was the first day that they met up, they had sex, and then on his birthday, they had sex.
And the next entry?
8/22/2018, 4/29. You know what I'm talking about, but you want to play dumb. It's cool. Our whole relationship, all that you lied about to me, all of it, because I know all of the stuff you think I don't. Let's try this again.
The next entry?
8/22/2018, 4/29. Okay, then I pray whenever you get ready to tell me the truth, you will, and see how much further we will go. But until then, this is what it is.
And the next entry?
Okay, 8/23/2018, 3/13. I lied about not liking Maya and wanting to do things with her. I started the whole thing. I told you that I was only talking to you, but I was also talking to Maya. The only reason we didn't do it more than once.
He's talking to a teenager about wanting to be with a teenager and another girl, and he has a wife that is this girl's aunt. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Was because she found out that we were doing things and she didn't want nothing to do with me. I did kiss her down there once only. That was the same day we did it. I told you things to like me more. And when I told you that I wanted you to see our other people, I was lying. %2C. I talked to Mai about you and our problems all the time. %2C. At first, I told you I was going to give you a baby to keep. I wasn't being serious, but once I seen how happy you were, I decided to give you 2 once you get older. After I found out about you and the boy, I was going to sex your sister to hurt you like you hurt me, but she didn't want to, so it never happened. I told you I had cameras up in the house. It's not true. I know the truth from something else, which I'm not going to say. I get info from your mom and aunts about you and tell them things so you won't be with nobody else. %2C. I said I'm not bothered by your actions anymore, but that's far from the truth. I hate when you are looking at other people. %2C. I hate when you talk to other people. %2C. I have your friends. %2C. Neighbors. I hate that you still talk to that boy. I hate that you talk to other people on your social network, Instagram, Snapchat, and some other things you have. %2C. I act like I have hacked your phone and I don't know what's going.
And the next entry?
8/23/2018, 3/18. I stopped wanting Maya after she turned me down the last time I got it in my head that it's not going to happen. She said, just lay there, say no, and she was much looser than you.
Okay, and the next entry?
8/23/2018, 10:30. You see, what you don't get is I don't give a fuck about what Maya do. I only care about what you do. And like I said in my truth letter to you, I would tell you aunt and mom about things so you
Careful, and your mom.
I would tell you aunt and your mom about things so you could only be with me, but you might only read the Maya part and disregard the rest.
And the next entry?
8/24/2018, 12:54. That's how it should be. If Jaco comes at you in a inappropriate way, you should tell me ASAP so I can deal with it right away. And if I question him in front of you, you should be straightforward with it all so he knows you're off limits.
And the next entry?
8/25/2018, 7/11, and it appears to be another picture.
And can you describe what we're looking at?
It is another screenshot of a text message from Uncle John.
And could you just read the bubbles, please?
So yes. Yeah, text your aunt too, love. What's wrong, baby? Snap me. Yeah. Talk to me. Why are you crying? Hello. WTF, yeah. What happened from when we was talking to now? Are you serious right now? Okay, then, GN, I love you. And then at the bottom, you can make out that it says, I knocked out.
And the next entry?
8/26/2018, 11/19. LOL, you will be my best friend. Went, you're pregnant. I'll cook for you until you can't eat no more.
And the next entry?
8/20.
I want to stop and say something about that last message. This, like, making false promises of you'll be my best friend. I'll cook for you until you can't eat anymore. Like, the fantasy, the dangling the carrot in front of the child. It goes back to the excessive gifts or particularly close. Like, the signs are there, but again, hidden away. Horrendous.
27, 2018, 101, because I want to take care of you.
And the next entry,
8/27, 2018, 10/29. I was on the roof and you told me to see if the chimney was connected to the other apartment so you could talk to that boy. I said, yeah. And you started to make plans to change your school schedule so you can meet up with him and go to a hotel. I started to cry and then I woke up.
and the next entry,
8/28, 2018, 113. Yeah, I can hear it now. If a fire, yeah, percent 2C. Where Jaco, percent 2C. In my pants, yeah. You want to put it out? I can't.
the next entry,
8/28, 2018, 12/29. I'm Nim being a B. I just want you to be okay, and I want to know where I stand with you so I'm not just surprised later that you've been with someone else and or you are talking to someone else. That's what I mean. I'd rather you just tell me up front so I can be prepared.
and the next entry.
8/29, 2018, 12/10. I've been kicked down there so much.
Just take your time, okay? Make sure you're reading word
Yes, ma'am.
backward. Just take your time.
I've been kicked down there so much. I'm not sure how you even pregnant.
How you're even
How
pregnant.
you're even pregnant.
Thank you. The next entry,
8/29, 2018, 5:59. It's a picture.
and can you describe it, please?
It is a screenshot of a photograph of two people having sex, and it says favorite position.
And the next entry,
9/2, 2018 at 2:03. It says, ha, ja. First off, that boy don't know how to fight, percent 2C. 2, I've been fighting all of my life. I can take hits there. I could stand there and let him punch me, and it would have no effect. On me at all. Although I look out of shape, I'm very seasoned. Just 2 days ago, I beat the shit out of someone. I believe I'm going to be okay. You see, I told him to wait until everyone leaves. Not for me, it's so when I knock him on his ass, his pride won't be too messed up. The goal is not to defeat him, it's just to teach him to respect his place.
and the next entry,
9/3, 2018, 11:51. That's what your slow ass should have said from the fucking jump.
and the next entry,
9/3, 2018, 11:52. Because it was a simple question that you seem to had a problem answering it. It's cool though. I'm not going to bother you, none. I'll talk to you tomorrow, GN.
and the next entry,
9/3, 2018, 11:52. Oh, so you're not going to fuck him. You'll just wait for me. That's what you meant.
and the next entry,
9/4, 2018, 9:27. I'm very aggravated right now. I'm going to hit you later.
the next entry,
9/7, 2018, 12:21. Yeah, so I need you to be like 100% with me at all times. I'm just so in love with you. I'll kill you and cry.
and the next entry,
9/17, 2018, 134. No, it seems like you the one that wants that, but you don't want to hurt my feelings. So you rather start up your bullshit again so I can leave you. Look, I don't have time for all of your little games. You like to play like I'm stupid and don't see what the fuck is going on. I trust you until you start lying to me again. Just like how all of a sudden you back playing your Sims game full time again to the point you don't have time for me no more. I won't be surprised that you don't tell the next.
and it's the N word.
Yes, it's the N word.
Okay, go ahead.
The same thing you tell me just so you do fuck up. Like the name you keep saying when you about to come and catch yourself.
And the next message,
9/17.
Do you see the manipulation? And how, even if in this point she was 16, and they had been dealing with well before 16, that he is manipulating her emotionally, physically. You have a wife and kids, and she's pregnant, and she's pregnant too. But he's throwing it back at her. Okay.
2018 at 1:43. You just keep lying to me. Then you try to make it as if I'm the one going behind your back. With who though? I don't fuck with your sister. I don't talk to nobody but your ass. I'm just tired of your games. I'm getting It getting very old sometimes. I wish I wasn't so deep in love with you. Okay, I won't keep talking all of the bullshit you give me.
And the next entry?
9/17/2018 at 1:44. I expect you to like other people, but you can't even admit that. You're 16 and H all of the time. Why wouldn't you? But the fact that you just can't be real about it is sickening to me.
And the next entry?
9/17/2018 at 1:49. Why would she lie about deleting me on Snapchat? That's so stupid, right? You don't be even making sense, %2C. I believe when you said you went to your counselor's office to change your classes, but then you started with all the other bullshit that makes me question your story. But you have it all planned out, so I'm going to let you be. If there was a boy I was up into this point, I was trusting that you'll tell me, but I see you back to your old ways again. I hope whoever it is makes you happy, because obviously I can't. While you want to make it seem I'm doing things behind your back, really funny, Yana, for lying to me, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm not staying with you either, so if you want to take the bus with your new buddy, do that. It will save me gas and me not seeing your face no more.
And the next entry?
9/17/2018 at 4:17. Yeah, so it can be so easy to leave you alone. I'm so in love with you. I push all my instincts to the side and look like the dumbass at the end. Well, you started your lying again.
And the next entry?
9/19/2018, 11:20. I'm sure you won't understand what's my problem, so I'm just not going to let you bother me like you have been anymore, since this seems to be an ongoing problem with you.
And the next entry?
9/25/2018, 3:02. You're stuck with me until you die. I love you way too much to let you go. So you're not going to have no life.
And that's how I wanted to end the video. He says it. He says it in his own words. You're going to be stuck with me until you die. You're not going to have any life. And he's a predator, but he's not a liar. That's what he ended up doing. After denying it to cops and investigators, he told her who he really was. So I was going to edit this video, but I think I'm just going to post it as is. So I hope everybody's feeling good and looking good. Thank you so much for staying with me to see these parallels. And hopefully, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a suggestion, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye. As my dogs are like, Mom.